sometimes I'd be in a crazy mode and then Ravi'd come and I'd think, oh, what am I going to do? But the moment you just go for it, then it would turn out much better than you would expect. And I used to, the same feeling with, I became quite friendly at one point with Swami Bhaktivedanta, who formed the Krishna temple. But, you know, they'd call me up and say, come to the temple, the Swami's here and he'd love to see you. And I'd be like going through some private nightmare or something, and I think, how can I go to the temple when I'm like this? But then I'd go, and I'd always walk out of there thinking, oh, thank you, Lord.
I think everything George did, including the songs that he wrote that didn't have spiritual words directly in them, were spiritual, and that was always on his mind. Even the song Something, that is considered one of the greatest love songs ever written, I think Frank Sinatra said that, can be seen as a love song to God.
What about the music makes it spiritual, aside from the words?
I think the thing about the music that makes it spiritual is the person who is singing it, namely George. That he wanted to be spiritual, he had a spiritual dimension to him, he was known to be involved in spirituality. Mantra, as we know it in English, means some phrase that's repeated again and again. Actually, mantra is a Sanskrit word originally. It meant a sacred chant and this Maha Mantra, Maha means great in Sanskrit. It means a great chant for deliverance. 1966, I had gone to San Francisco and I had heard that the devotees had recorded a record at that time. I had also heard that the Beatles had ordered 300 copies of that LP, 33 1/3 LP vinyl recording. And it was the kind of thing where it just sort of passed that, okay, the Beatles got 300 copies, so after about a week we just sort of forgot about it. But I found out later that George had gotten that record himself, and that he and John had chanted the Hare Krishna mantra while sailing somewhere in the Mediterranean Sea. So for so long that he said that his jaws were aching. I think that chanting helped George a lot overcome feelings of distress and anger. He once said to me, George once said that once you start chanting, you don't want to stop. I think that he was very attached to the chanting and also to people like myself who were of his age and who were on a spiritual path. Sometimes I called him a closet Krishna because he didn't shave his head, he didn't wear robes.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
He wanted to make an album for the Radha Krishna temple. All of these people in their white robes, bald heads, going around hitting the Indian bells, just trying to, at times, record all of them, with them sort of not necessarily keeping still all the time, and some of the weird instruments that were being brought in to be recorded. It was absolutely fascinating. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.